market. But just to encourage you that the markets are there and they are very, very available. So feel free to engage, and we learn together and compare notes. Now, our webinar today, the theme is about insights, of course, from the different organic expos that Nogamu and some team and as Nogamu institution we have participated in, and there are very, very enormous opportunities that we have envisaged. And so we thought it is very important for us to come and share with you, to come and we learn together and share different opportunities. So on behalf of Nogamu team, especially the CEO, who will be joining us but is not able to be here right now, he sends his regards together with the board, and we are glad that you have always supported the subsector, the organic. One, I thought maybe for those who do not know about Nogamu, Nogamu is a national umbrella membership organization that was established in 2001. And the vision mostly and what we need to see day by day is increased incomes and improved livelihoods in Uganda through adoption of organic agriculture. We have members that are over 2 million smallholder farmers through the network of the members that we work with. And that is mostly encompassing the 360 member associations and organizations that we work with. We work with organic input dealers, we work with organic producers, we work with organic processors, exporters, business service support organizations, research organizations, civil society organizations, as long as their core and their purpose is related to strengthening and improving the organic industry in Uganda. We do our work mostly in the 4 major program areas. One that brings us here today, and the one that we have always loved to do with one heart, is promoting local, regional, and international markets. And we'll be talking more about that as we proceed. And through this, we are able to open up different opportunities at a domestic or national level, local level, and international level to ensure that the organic producers are able to access the markets. Secondly, we also look at strengthening and promoting the market standards and the required certification, because we cannot talk about markets and we don't talk about standards and certification. This is different countries, the Japanese agriculture standards, the Uganda National Bureau of Standards, the EU Organic Product Standards, and the different kinds of standards. Depending on the available market, there are different standards that we talk about, and we link, we encourage, we harness the members and the different actors in the sector to be able to understand these standards and be able to get certified for the markets available. The other program area is training, research, education, and extension, which we are able to reach out through the Nogamu Academy and other avenues to ensure that people understand what organic production is, what are the practices, what are the available unique models, what are the unique lessons that we can always share regarding the organic industry. And lastly is about the advocacy and strategic relations, where Nogamu we influence key decisions related to the sector of the organic industry generally. So at the moment, we have discussions on the table that are talking about the National Organic Agriculture Bill, the NOAB, and there are discussions to have it in place. Different frameworks, technical working groups are really in discussion, and soon we will update you on how far we would have gone and where we need your support as the sector partners. And lastly, that I wanted to emphasize is that Nogamu is committed to promoting the practices, to promoting the partners, to promoting the best lessons from the industry. And we are organizing the National Organic Week, stroke Organic and Natural Expo that we will be bringing to you. That is scheduled for November. We'll talk about it at the end, November 2026. And you're welcome to book your space, to book your seat, so that we learn on the key developments in the industry. I thought I needed to give you that highlight for those who do not know much about Nogamu. And so now that we are at par, I'd like to invite those who have just joined to please, in the chat, write your name, your institution that you're representing, your email, and your contact in case you have not registered. And I would also like you to post if you have any expectations, please put in the chat and post so that we know what you are expecting. And the other thing is that if you're not speaking, kindly mute your microphone so that we are able to hear from one another. And the other thing that I needed to emphasize is that the major objective for this webinar is to share, is us, Nogamu, to share the lessons that we have learned from the previous expos, organic expos that we have engaged in, the BioFach 2026, the Middle East Organic and Natural Expo 2025. Of course, there are different opportunities, there are different engagements, there are different learnings that we believe as we share in the sector, then we can be able to leverage on the different opportunities available. So this is one of the many webinars that we will be organizing, different topics, different seasons, different dates, so that we are able to polish and organize ourselves better to capture the different opportunities in the sector. So you're very welcome once again. Feel at home, feel at organic as we move forward. At this point, I would like to invite Mr. Farid Karama, who is the Global Marketing Advisor for Nogamu, to take us through the key lessons. But just before he comes in, I would like to invite Mr. Mansour to say hello to the participants. Mr. Mansour is a board member of Nogamu, and thanks for being here. Please say hello to the participants in a minute or two.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you for calling me. Thank you for calling me. Appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And Rebecca, I saw Rebecca and Adong. You'll say, if you still have some time, you can say hello, and then we'll have Farid come in. Yes. If you're able to speak. Rebecca from CBI.
Yes, thank you so much. Very nice to be here today. See a lot of our colleagues at Nogamu, but also a lot of the Nogamu members. We're very excited to join, as we've also been with Nogamu for a few of these events. Very excited to see this knowledge is shared today and to also hear from you about the challenges you're encountering and have fruitful discussions on this. So very glad to be there, and congratulations also to our new colleagues for setting up this webinar. And looking forward to the session. Thank you so much.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Rebecca. And we are glad that you have always walked with us different milestones that we have achieved together. So at this point, allow me, friends, invite our Global Marketing Advisor, Mr. Farid Karama, to take on the floor and share his presentation. And please take good notes in case you need any inquiry, in case you need any clarifications. We are available to make it happen and to have us understand the different contexts. So Farid, over to you.
Thank you very much, Prudence. I don't know whether you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much, Prudence, for that opening, and good afternoon, everyone present for this webinar. As Prudence mentioned, I'm called Farid Karama, and I work with Nogamu as the Global Market Advisor. So today we are speaking about markets and the opportunities that are actually in place for us to tap in as Uganda, but also as Africa. But before I go into my presentation, let me start with a simple but important question that I don't want you to answer it right now, but you can always answer it at your own time, but also reflect on it to make sure that at least you don't miss any opportunity. So this is the question that I'm trying to ask. If a buyer from Europe or the Middle East asked for your product today, are you ready to supply? That's a question. And we're not only looking at quantities, but we're also looking at the quality, certification, packaging, and consistency. So you need to ask yourself those questions. Are you ready to supply any market? And do they meet the quality, the certification, and also the packaging, and also consistency? So from what we experienced at BioFach 2026, I was there personally, one thing was very clear, that the world is not waiting. The world is not waiting, but the demand for organic sustainable products is growing rapidly, because when we move to different stores of different buyers, or people showcasing their products, it showed that the demand is growing rapidly.
I would like to request that we mute and listen in together. Thank you.
Thank you, Prudence, for that. So from what we experienced at BioFach 2026, one thing was very clear, that the world is not waiting. Demand for organic and sustainable products is actually growing every day, and buyers are actually looking out for reliable suppliers. So what is the gap? It's not about the market. It's our readiness to meet the demand. And today, I want to share with you practical insights on what we saw and what buyers are you looking at? And most importantly, how can you position yourself to tap into the Middle East market? So that's the presentation that I'm going to share with you now. If you have any notebook, please note down this. I think it might be helpful in future when you're trying to look at how you can export to the different BATs. So what the world wants and how can you supply it? We all know that in February, there's always BioFach. And this year we participated as Uganda. We also had many other African countries that participated. And right now I'm going to share with you the insights from what we saw and how we can better ourselves in terms of exporting or preparing ourselves to export to the European market, but also this can also help you to look at also how you can export to other countries in the world. Why does this matter? If you look at the global market, it's no longer a niche market, but it's a growing market where buyers are looking for different products from Africa. And if we don't tap into that as Africa, as Uganda, then we might lose out. So the buyers there that we meant are highly potential in terms of different stakeholders. We had buyers, suppliers, we had distributors who are interested in the organic foods. And we found out that there is growing demand. There's a big appetite for organic products in those markets, Europe, North America, but also if you visit stalls for the Asians, you'll see that the demand is big. Also, buyers are searching for products. So you find international buyers are actually actively diversifying their sourcing away from the saturated market. So they don't want to source within their markets, but they want to explore also markets within Africa. So that's why you see that while we were there, we got a lot of inquiries about products from Africa. So that's an opportunity. But also, when we moved around in terms of seeing what the trends that are happening in there, we found out that Uganda and the wide African continent are actually recognized as untapped high potential supply origins. So there's a lot that we need to do there. We need to tap into those opportunities so that at least we can supply. And while at BioFach 2026, it confirmed that the market is ready and willing. But the critical question is, are we ready to meet the requirements of the European market or the Asian markets? So this comes back to the question that I asked earlier on. Are we ready to meet the requirements of this market? So it's us to answer and check ourselves whether we are ready to satisfy these markets. And if possible, if we look at the quantities we have, do we have the quantities that can enable us to consistently supply the market? Sorry, just a minute. Just a minute. Yeah, so the next slide shows really what the world wants. You know, it's very important for us to know that there are certain requirements or things that we need to prepare to meet the certain markets. So while at BioFach, and I think also this is the same with the Middle East, you find that there are different demand trends that are happening, and also people are trying to request for that. So you find that the international buyers have moved actually from just simply sourcing raw materials, but they are looking for verified quality, transparent supply chains, and compelling origin stories. So you find that they are looking at the quality that is desired in that market, but also transparent, looking at the different value chains. So you find that some markets are requesting for fair trade. So understanding these core demands is the first step to positioning yourself as a class supplier. What does the world want? Certified organic. You know, so we need certified products that can actually go into the different markets, because the world is growing and it's looking at healthy products, and certified products is the way to go. It's unfortunate that when we were going to BioFach, we asked companies of products that are certified. Unfortunately, we got very few companies who actually met the requirements to see that their products are showcased in Germany. So number two is value-added products. We saw that you need to have a value-added product to actually tap into those big markets. They are going away from the fresh products and going more on the processed packaged foods. So that's also an area that we looked up to in terms of what the world wants. Then clean and sustainable, environmental responsibility, and also natural production, which is organic. So that's also an area where we feel that it's a potential for actually sourcing these products. The other one is actually brand story. Many people buy these products because of a story that is behind. So you need to buy a product which has a story, and you see many people, buyers, tag themselves towards that story, which really show the quality, reliability, but also a compelling origin. For example, if you start talking about coffee from Mount Elgon and how women are participating in growing it, so that is something that is very compelling and actually builds the confidence, and also getting a premium price for that coffee. So while in Germany, we had some key products that actually were that we showcased, but also what came out really openly, that these products are of much interest during BioFach. So we looked, there was more of organic coffee. Just want to confirm whether you're following my screen. If my screen is moving on your side, Prudence? Are we all following my screen?
Your screen is not moving, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry. Let me reshare it again. Sorry. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, we are.
Okay, yes. That's good. So just to also highlight some of the products that were on high demand during the BioFach, and that showed many interests from the different buyers. So we have different categories. We had coffee with both Robusta and Arabica, where we actually showcased, and this generated a lot of enthusiasm from different profiles of buyers that we met. So coffee, both Robusta and Arabica, came out as #1 in terms of the potential. Then we also had the dried fruits, which we saw that pineapple, mango, and bananas also came up as a product that was interested in the European market. We had ginger, which is both fresh and dried. Also, many of these potential buyers wanted actually to source these products from Africa and Uganda in particular. Then we also had sesame, shea butter, and oils. This also came as an interest from the different people in Germany. We also had the herbs and spices, and these we met different buyers who are actually interested to buy, for example, the herbs in big quantities. So it's something that we actually discussing, and also seeing how best we can actually tap into that market in terms of of supplying hubs. Then we also saw in terms of juice concentrates, where we had a product sample from Uganda that we went with to BioFach, and it was a pineapple concentrate. And actually, many people were interested in getting that product so that they can support the producer in Uganda. The other one is what I can mention here briefly is what are the buyers looking for. I think it's important for us to understand this, what are buyers looking for. So the standards that are open or closed, international doors. So you find that buyer interest in African organic products is actually growing and it's moving steadily, but the interest alone does not convert to contracts. So there is many interests, but there's a lot that we need to prepare. Like I said, we went with a few products to showcase, but we had anticipated to go with several products, but due to very few certified products from Uganda, and like we all know, yes, certification is expensive, but it is something that I think we need to discuss. And I think through NOGAM, we need to come up with avenues on how to see we get these certifications more affordable. So one of the key things that buyers are looking for is certification, obvious, for you to actually export to, for example, Germany or to the different international markets. That's something they require. So either it's organic or fair trade or any other certification that they're always coming up every time while you want to export. The other is packaging and labeling. Honestly, when you go to those markets, you really, when you look at our products, you feel shy sometimes to say that this product is from Uganda, because you find that the markets there have introduced international labels, international packaging, where we feel that Uganda is still lacking in terms of actually good packaging and labeling. So I think we need to improve in that area so that we can at least tap into the good markets, not only looking at the European market, but also the regional market, because I think there's also potential within the regional market. The other is actually what buyers are looking for is traceability and compliance. I think looking from the whole value chain, from the farmer to where the market is, so we need to have that traceability and getting compiled. And with you having the organic certification, I think also supports that. Then another important thing is reliable volumes. So buyers here need suppliers who can deliver consistently, season after season, without disruption of the supply chain. You know, I personally met a buyer, and one thing he mentioned to me, can I get this product throughout the year? Is it consistent? Consistent in terms of also volumes, but also in terms of the quality, because there are always tendencies whereby most suppliers are not producing good products, but consistency today is a good product, tomorrow it's not really to the standard that we agreed on. So we need to improve on those four criteria: certification, packaging and labeling, but also traceability and compliance, which are very key and reliable volumes to supply into the market. So just to mention to you, while in Germany, there's a lot of things that we learned, and BioFach alone 2026 resulted in 2 tangible opportunities. So this is not theory, and I thought that I would share with you this information, that the numbers from BioFach 2026 speak for themselves. So you find that the products that we had from Uganda generated measurable and contracted trade outcomes, confirming that global demand is not an abstract concept, but it's an active commercial reality. So this is an opportunity that we found out. And based on the inquiries and the engagements that we had with the different stakeholders there, we saw that almost 8+ containers of coffee, and the contract was signed based on the information that we have. Contracts were signed to supply coffee in Germany. I think that's an opportunity for us to Uganda, and I think there's a lot of opportunities that many other people can tap into that. And we also got an inquiry for almost 40 metric tons of dried pineapples. So this is something that with the dried pineapples, we are still discussing and seeing how can we actually negotiate further, because getting these 40 metric tons at a go, sometimes it may not be easy, but we are working around with different key pineapple dried producers who are in Uganda to see how much can we produce. Then we can actually negotiate further with the buyer in Germany. But when you look at the trade impact, the inquiries that we got, the quantities that people were, the buyers were mentioning, it actually came to almost 1.2 million US dollars that could be generated from BioFach alone in terms of engagements. So this is the potential that you see if we prepare ourselves very well and tap into these opportunities. I think we can actually sell more as a country, as Uganda, but also as Africa, so that we can actually grow our income. The other one that is I would like to share is that we met over 60 plus buyers in this market who actually discussing or sharing with us what the requirements, and we have these contacts. So I think you can always come to Nogam in terms of in terms of the questions you have and what market. So we can always provide with you this information so that you can, or we can easily connect you with the contacts that we have, and you can start engaging with them to see how best you can actually engage further or start doing business. So just to highlight this is not a theory, it's real business happening right now. So the question is whether you will be part of the next round of deals. So like again, the question I asked earlier on, we need to prepare ourselves so that we can tap into these opportunities. I know as Uganda, we can go, we can have a more trade impact, even over 5 million US dollars, if we prepare ourselves. And if we look at all the challenges that we are facing, high cost of certification and all the other things, I think as Uganda or as Africa, we can always build a case that can actually take us to another level. So, as I try to wind up my session, is like, how can you supply these markets? So there are 6 pointers that I put down, and this can help us actually to win the global markets. One is we need to get certified. I think that's the only way we can actually get recognized or penetrate into the markets that we are looking for. You'd find there are some markets that are not really so strict on certification, but I think if we are tapping into those markets, then we have to get certified. The other number 2 is actually we need to invest in value addition. I think it's important. We need to invest in value addition. The European market is no longer taking raw materials, so they are looking at value added products. So we need to invest in that so that we can be export ready. So let's add value to our products so that we can tap into those markets, but also get some good premium prices. Number 3 is let's improve on our packaging and branding. When you're there, you see different brands and really attractive. So we need to actually improve on our brands as a country so that we have some brands that are doing well here in Uganda, but if we want to improve more and tap into the bigger markets in the European, so we have to improve in good packaging and branding. And that's something that you can always get that service at Nogam, where you can come and we can support you and guide you through the process of how to improve your packaging and branding. The other one that is number 4 is we need to ensure consistent quality. The quality that you produce today is the same quality that you produce after 2 months, after 3 months, after 4 months. So let's ensure that we have consistent quality that you agreed upon with the buyer. That's also something very key in terms of building the trust with the buyer. The other one is build partnerships and networks. So let's collaborate with Nogamo, with other cooperatives, with trade organizations, with platforms that actually can connect you and also amplify your access to market. And that's one of the roles that Nogamo is there to do, is to see that we connect you both to international markets, regional markets, but also guide you in terms of preparing you to actually look at all those things that we have talked about: quality, quantity, branding, packaging, and something like so. In terms of also export opportunities that are out there. So number 6 is we need to prepare. We need to prepare for export, have all the documentations that are required. And actually, before you go into the export, you need to understand all the dynamics, the logistics, the requirements, so that at least when you don't have any issues with while you're exporting your products. So you need to prepare yourself very well so that you can tap into the products. So export is not that you wake up in the morning and export. It's a process. And I think at Nogamo, we can guide you through that process so that you can try to export. There's a simple formula that I put down there is, one is, if you have good preparation plus good standards and market linkages, this is the equation that will turn local production into global trade. So this is something that you need to move with so that it can support you in terms of when you want to export to different markets. And this all, you can always come to Nogamo and we can support you in that in different areas so that you can actually get into the export market. So the opportunity is yours to claim. If you look at Uganda alone, we are blessed with very good fertile soils, good climate, rich biodiversity, and also a long tradition of smallholder organic farming. So we need to tap into this, that we have the opportunity, we have everything, but the gap is too close. When you look at the global demand, it's already there, but the challenge and the opportunity lies in closing 3 critical gaps that currently prevent Ugandan suppliers from capturing their full scale of the share market in international trade. Market readiness. This is something that I've mentioned earlier on, market readiness. We are not certified, we have poor packaging, the documentation is poor, and that's why we are not actually exporting to this market. Coordination. Aggregating supply through cooperatives and network increases volume, capacity, and reliability. So you'd find someone wants to do everything alone, and yet not knowing that you can always have a different network of farmers, or you're working with a cooperative that actually will support your products in terms of aggregating different quantities and also tap into the export market. The other number 3 is professionalism. Adopting global business practices in communication, logistics, and quality control builds lasting buyer trust. So you need to have a professional way how you communicate with the different buyers or different contacts that actually you've created. This helps in building trust and also growing your potential in terms of this buyer to consistently trust you with whatever business they are giving you, because you find that sometimes communication leads us to actually lose the buyers that we have. Someone sends an email, you don't respond, or you respond after several months when already this deal has actually gone through. So we need to actually learn how we communicate and build trust with the different connections or buyers that we meet. So the world is ready. And this is the question I started with. The world is ready. Are we ready to supply this? Because you find that global buyers are not waiting. They're actually building their supply relationship with partners who demonstrate readiness, professionalism. So if we are ready, and if we are not ready, then I think Nogamo has a bigger role to play here to see that we can support you to actually build the readiness and look at the certification, but also to position ourselves as a globally recognized organic supplier from Uganda. So we need to actually look at that. And I know in the coming few years, through NOGAM and also other different partners, Uganda will actually be among the leading exporters of organic products because we have the potential. And with that, I would like to request that you need to connect with us as NOGAM, and we share the different contacts that we have with the different buyers, but also let's collaborate with the different cooperatives, processors, and also fellow exporters to build the volumes. Because an exporter alone, for example, with the dried 40 metric tons, if you're one exporter, you can't meet that. But if we come together, different exporters, and build the volumes, and we supply consistently, then we shall actually beat global demand. The other one is scale. We need to use market linkages and different trade platforms and certification support to grow from local producer to international suppliers. So we need to actually engage further to see how we can actually get affordable certification that can enable us to actually produce. Maybe we engage further with the different certification bodies to actually see that this process is actually affordable to the different key stakeholders. And I know my CEO will mention more about certification on how we are engaging different key stakeholders in terms of supporting us in certification. So the world is looking for suppliers like you, and I believe it's the right time to connect, collaborate, and scale together so that we can tap into these opportunities that are out there. With that, I think that's the end of my presentation. Prudence, back to you. Prudence, back to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Farid, for that thoughtful presentation. Very, very insightful indeed. And thank you, colleagues, for the chat. I see it flowing, different questions, different feedback. So it is connection. And I think it is interesting. I would like to invite Nicodemus, if you're there. Please share a word or two because you were part of the different expos. Nicodemus, in 2 minutes, then we'll embark on the different questions that we have here.
Yeah, thank you, Prudence, and thanks all for organizing this webinar. And I have to say thanks to the presenter. I really agree with the highlights on what the market wants from us as producers. And yes, I totally agree with you about the market demands, the situation, the trends that we can see in the organic market. It is true that the market for organic is growing day by day. Yeah, but of course, also on a producer end, the demands are also, I'm talking of the compliance demands in terms of certifications are growing day by day. So yes, we participated at the BioFach 2026 and before, and we have witnessed this over the time. As we continue to target for these markets, we have to really value consistency, the quality, and the volumes and the quantity. So first of all, it is very hard to market smaller quantities. So we have, if we can not raise the quantities, then we have to combine, work with others so that at the end of the day, we are able to at least raise the sufficient volumes. And we have to be consistent. What you are delivering today should be the same tomorrow and in the future, so that you're able to continue growing the trust with the buyers. The buyers have to trust you that you are able to produce the right quantities and the right quality and consistently. Yes, so
Please, someone mute. If you're not speaking, yes, Nicodemus.
Yes, sorry, I was probably speaking, but I hadn't, I had not unmuted. Okay, so thank you, Prudence. Yeah, thanks for organizing this webinar, and I take this opportunity also to thank the Nogam Group and the presenter. Yes, I agree with you. Yes, we participated at the BioFach 2026, and we had participated for the years before. As Ugandans, as African producers, it is very important to ensure that we follow the trends and the market demands. Organic market is growing day by day. The demand is growing day by day, but we have to be prepared for that. So we have to produce traceable products because the market wants what can be traceable. The market wants good quality. They wanted certified products that are trusted by the markets. Yeah, so, and the markets wants a consistency. So what you deliver today, what you put in the market, you should be able to provide the same product in tomorrow and in the future, so that you don't, someone doesn't use your product and maybe in 1 year or 2 is unable to provide the same product to his or her customers. So that is very important, and it was really expressed in the presentation. That's very good. That's very interesting. So as members, and I talked also about the production, consistency in production. Small volumes are not easy to market, but if we can work together with colleagues, with partners, if you cannot produce enough pineapples, maybe your colleague can also produce some. At the end of the day, if you work together, then you can get some volumes that can enable you access the better market. So it's not good to keep working in isolation. Yeah, that's what I can comment for now. I don't want to waste a lot of your time, and I will leave in a few minutes because I have a meeting at exactly 4 sharp. So thank you, colleagues. Thank you, Nogam, for organizing this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicodemus, for that highlight. Indeed, it is about quality, it is about traceability, trusted certified products, consistency, and many, many more. So there are a couple of questions online through the chat that are coming in. I'll give an opportunity to at least 5 participants who can unmute and ask if they need for any clarification. Then we go to the ones in the chat. I hope, Farid, you'll be able to summarize them. Some people want slides, others want recordings, others want emphasis on the prices that are provided. Are there premium prices? But as we talk about that, there is something we talked about, Farid, with regard to the products on the markets. For Ankole Coffee, they have a network of farmers. They are able to mobilize many many of the tons that are required by the market. If it is not there in Shema, they will go to Uganda. If it's not there, they will go to Bushenyi, they will go to Mbarara, Tungam, and they collect the coffee. But one thing we're asking ourselves with Farid and the team, we had several buyers who wanted dried fruits, dried pineapples. And we said, now, these people who want 2 tons every month of solar dried pineapples, what shall we do with these big volumes that are needed? Is it possible that we can organize ourselves better? Is it possible that we can reach out? Of course, we are talking about consistency in terms of quality and quantities and many others. So I would like to hand over to Farid. I would like to hand over to those who want to ask questions, if I can see them. We have only 5 slots, then we'll have our presenter respond to the questions. Yes. I see Bart is already in the house. Yes, Bart. Yeah, you can speak.
Yeah.
Hi there.
Over to you.
Thank you, Prudence. Very interesting presentations, and very good to hear that Nogamu is on the keyboard. And I think the presentation was very good in a sense that it articulated again. One thing is the potential of Uganda, but second is critical volume and critical qualities. And this is what you also see in the CBI projects several times. There was at BioFach, we had the Moringa from West Africa. And there you could see there's a big demand, but they couldn't supply with the suppliers that we have from West Africa. The same now, and I think that's another good example, is how to organize and aggregate, is the Nilotica Share Alliance. CBI has a project in Uganda also for share with the Share Alliance. They are participating in cosmetics. And these are examples of, and I thank Farid also for articulating this. How do you organize a sector in a way that you'll be able to meet the demands? You can mention documentation and traceability and all these things, but in the end, do you have sufficient volume of critical qualities. That means standardized qualities, and that needs to be then also documented by product documentation, specifications, and certifications, as Farid was mentioning. We are currently doing a survey also for the Swiss Uganda mission on coffee and cacao, vanilla and shea. So I think it shows that there's a lot of support possible for the companies, but in the end, it's about how the companies organize themselves to organize the quantity and the quality. And I think that's very critical, and I think that's also a critical role for Nogamo. Yeah, I think for the coffee, for instance, there's another demand for green coffee in Germany, and I've seen that there's been several emails, but there's not been follow-up communication. So communication would also be an important element that I want to highlight. Once buyers show an interest, you have to follow up and you have to show for what you're mentioning to your buyers, because otherwise they will not come back. And yeah, these are some critical issues from my side. Thank you so much, Prudence.
Thank you so much, Bart, and for always supporting us in the different engagements and for hosting us, even when we were there in for BioFach. Yes, I would like to find out who else would like to share a minute or two before we go to responses. Okay.
Hello.
If you're not there, we have.
Yes, Prudence.
Please go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you guys for the nice presentation and the insightful information that you guys have brought to us. My question is really on how do we ease the certification journey for value chain actors in Uganda? I see it's the main barrier to certification, and yeah, these opportunities exist, but the biggest barrier is certification. Are there those very easy packages that one can access through Nogamo? And this is also actually the cost is compounded by the EUDR requirements. We needed more, maybe some highlight on that, and how really can we ease this certification journey for an upcoming processor in Uganda or for a cooperative that is willing to leverage on these opportunities? But we really thank you for, getting for us this information, and it's really good. And I know most processors upcoming like myself could really, take this information and use it for further to ease, the level to improve production and processing, but also, to look at future opportunities in the international market. Over. Thank you.
Thank you, Joven, for that feedback. Yes, and it is noted. Farid will take on some of the questions and our team. Joven, what do you process? What do you engage in? What value chains?
In various value chains, but vanilla is one of them.
Vanilla, okay.
Though I didn't see it on the products that were, though I saw spices, vanilla didn't come out vividly.
It was
so
in
maybe
spices.
you can give us some feedback. What was it? How are the market opportunities for vanilla? Thank you.
Okay, Farid will share, but it was included in the spices. Yes. Any other before Farid comes in? Yes.
Thank you.
I think Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm David Munezero. I'm the founder of Region Now Farm. I was asking if there is any opportunity for organic. Maybe you can also share about that. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. For it, I hope you have most of the questions, those that have been shared, and feedback on the platform, and also in the context of those that are in the chat. Yeah, feel free to summarize them and share feedback.
Thank you very much, Prudence. I think there's a lot of questions in the chat. I may not be able to answer all of them, but I think I'll try to. I've picked out a few that maybe I could try to answer right now, and maybe the others we can always answer them as we go on in terms of sharing the information, since we have your contacts. So I would like to thank Bat, who has actually emphasized and also highlighted some of the few things that are required to actually tap into those European markets. So thanks, Bat, for adding your voice to my presentation. And also, just to also mention, someone was asking whether the presentations will be shared. Yes, since we have your email addresses, we shall share this presentation so that you can use it to guide. And Jovin Rambumbe mentioned that about certification. How do we ease the certification of the different small producers? I think as NOGAM, we support in that, we guide in that process. We have the East African Organic Standard Mark, which we always encourage a few producers to actually start with, looking at the regional market as you build the capacity to grow into the bigger markets like the European market. So I think we have that information at Nogamo where you can actually access it so that you can see how we can support you in acquiring the East African Organic Standard, the Kilimo High, so that you can actually try to tap into the market. You also mentioned the same in regards to vanilla. Yes, vanilla was highlighted in the spices. There is a strong market opportunity for vanilla in the European Union. And in fact, it is one of the most promising export products that I should mention right now, that it has a lot of potential, because some of the inquiries we had during BioFach is basically, we met different possible buyers who actually into the dairy, making yogurt, bakery, and beverages. And actually vanilla demand is actually was highlighted that they needed vanilla. So vanilla has the potential in export. So, but we need to work on those certified vanilla products and also traceable products. So that has potential. And for example, in France is one of the biggest organic vanilla markets. And we met one of the buyers during BioFach who actually highlighted the interest of having that vanilla, even added products like vanilla extract, the vanilla powder, also something in form of ingredients. So the vanilla has the potential in terms of market. I saw also a comment of prices and payment terms, that sometimes the payments take long, for example, from the buyers, in terms of once you supply them, so between 60 to 90 days. I think that also depends on how you negotiate further with the buyers, but maybe those who are already doing it will with time they'll share with us the experience, like the Ankole coffee, on how they actually work on to that. So I think it depends on actually your negotiation terms on how they need to payment. For example, the buyer for the dried fruits of the 40 metric tons that I mentioned, this buyer was actually mentioning that even before shipment, he would be willing to pay the 50%. Then the other 50% is paid once the shipment has arrived. So I think it depends case by case from the different buyers. I think not all buyers are stringent in terms of the payment terms. Yes, you also mentioned that buyers are not serious, which is true. Sometimes you come into an agreement, you get into the certification, you do two consignments, and there's no market again. So I think we need to look at also different opportunities, not only to stick to one buyer, so that you have other different buyers that actually you can supply, so that get. Then another person asked about an opportunity of supplying certified maize for flour. I think that is something we have not seen within the European market, but I think within the regional market, I think we have seen some inquiries on that. So it's something that you can engage as Nogamu. So at Nogamu, we have a lot of information of different markets, the different dynamics, so that you can really what you can really tap on. So I encourage all of you that we may not be able to answer all these questions, but I will encourage you to come and visit us at Nogamu, and we get to understand your specifics. Then we can see how we can actually support you to actually penetrate within the regional, but also the bigger markets in Europe and the Middle East. Prudence?
Yeah, thank you so much, Farid, for responding to the questions. I don't know if there is anyone else who still has one or two questions that you would like to bring up or any feedback. If you're there, then you can put up your hand or you unmute and speak. We'll get to hear you.
Hello, thank you for the presentation. This is Dan Makosa. I was requesting for unpacking of the spices or the specific spices which were highlighted, because we deal in different spices. We could be having chili, we could be having moringa, and so on. So when we see those spices, we can know that we are covered. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dan, for that. Any other?
Yeah, Prudence, if I may, Dan, maybe to add on what Nogamu just said about the vanilla. There is a strong interest in the market for vanilla. The question is more that it's very important to get the story straight on the vanilla from Uganda, because you have to battle against, let's say, the qualities of Madagascar, which are well known in the market. And I think for that same reason, I think Farid already mentioned, story building is very important for Uganda. Uganda has to become and known for good quality vanilla. We had every year a vanilla producer from Uganda at BioFach, and he's also struggling with organic certification. It's very costly with all these small farmers, so that is certainly an issue. But I think there is also room to improve and to aggregate more good quality, but also to build a story around the vanilla from Uganda. Similar for coffee, and I think I had a discussion with Farid on this, and the storyline is that Uganda is a much bigger exporter of coffee than, for instance, Ethiopia. So that story should also be been brought to the forefront in terms of what are the qualities of Uganda when you talk about coffee? What kind of specialties do you have? What is the quality of the green coffee? What is the quality of the roasted coffee? And I think that's also an important element, and I think that's also something Nogamu is working on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bart, for that feedback. And indeed, it's important that we connect through. While we engage with some of these buyers, some of them an example of ginger, they would say, we are interested in the ginger of Tanzania, and we have we've been engaging with them, and so we are happy and comfortable with Tanzania or Madagascar and that kind of stuff. So I agree with you, but that we need to set a standard, we need to set the pace for whichever buyers we are able to connect with. Yes, so is there anything else? Anyone have not given an opportunity that would like to speak? Yes. Okay, so Farid, please wrap up on the additional questions that have been shared. Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Just one thing. Do we have is Nogamo in any way planning to bring some of these international buyers to have some local, engagements within? Then you can invite some of the prospective, or partners that they can engage with, like you're talking about fruits, raising some of these volumes. If probably we can woo them to come down, and maybe we organize some of those intentional engagements with the local players. This would really ease some of these gaps that exist within our supply chains. Just thinking outside the box. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, Mr. Mansour.
Okay, now this organic certification is okay, but nowadays Europe asking, Europe gap, they're asking rainforest, they're asking food and safety, they're asking a lot of certification. If you do everything, then they offer low price. Like today, organic vanilla costing me $71, and they offer me $41. How can I export $41? My cost is $71. This is the biggest challenge. I am last 30 years, I'm in the vanilla business since 1996. I know vanilla. They can talk a lot, but they not give you the right price. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mansour, for that observation. Yes, I would like to hand over to Farid to wrap up the discussions and speak about one, especially in the context of the question about the international buyers coming here, and the next steps on how we could reorganize and mobilize ourselves better in the industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prudence, and thank you all to all the participants for actually joining, but also bringing out these good discussion points. Maybe just before I really close, have my closing remarks, wrapping up this session, I would like to inform, I think, that yes, we have plans of bringing these international buyers here in Uganda, and through the one event, the Organic and Nature Expo that we are organizing later this year in November, from the 4th to 7th, where we shall have actually different buyers from different countries who will be in Uganda to actually see and also interact with different producers here. So that the reason why we're doing this, we want to actually them to come and see the potential that Uganda has in terms of the organic products. So that is one of the events that we are having. And it's, I think, starting next month, the registration for that event will be open. So we encourage everyone who wants to be part of it to start registering, and also keep following our different social media handles and also different platforms where at least you can get this information. But I think that event would be one of the events that would actually look into in one not missing to participate. So thank you once again for engaging discussion and great questions. If there's one key takeaway from today that I've had, it is the global market is not the challenge. The opportunity is already there. So from looking at from the organic coffee to vanilla, dried fruits and spices, the demand continues to grow across Europe and other international markets. However, success in these markets require more than just production. Like we said earlier, it requires readiness in terms of quality, certification, consistency, and also value addition. So the world is looking for reliable partners, and Africa, if you look at Uganda especially, is well positioned to supply, but only if we are prepared strategically. And I know at Nogam, our role is to prepare you to actually tap into those markets. As I wind up, I encourage all of us to move from just being producers to actually becoming market-ready suppliers so that you can tap into different markets. Let's invest in standards, build stronger partnerships, and take advantages of platforms like Nogam to access this opportunity. So the opportunity is real, the demand is growing, and the time to act is now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Farid, for that highlight and for that discussion. Yes, we are looking out to do our best to support you to connect to the available markets. Yes, while the challenges are there, the importance of certification, we can always journey through the waters together and connect the missing links. So we, like I said earlier, we are looking out to having several of these other webinars. Our next will be on the markets, and we'll communicate soon. That is April, May, Farid, on when we have our next webinar, so that we connect and reflect together. Farid, when is the next webinar?
I think the next webinar shall have it end of April.
Okay.
So we shall keep you posted on the exact dates and details. So the details actually next week, we shall have the details coming out for the next webinar so that you can prepare and mark your calendars.
Okay. Thank you so much once again. I would like to request Farid that you drop our contacts in the chat, especially your contact, so that in case they need to reach out to us, telephone, email, they are able to get in touch with us. Otherwise, on behalf of the Nogamo team and the organizers of this webinar, would like to thank you so much for taking time to connect with us, for taking time to ask questions, to share feedback and different kinds of participation. So we would like to say bye-bye for now. We'll share the presentation and we'll also be able to share the recording for those who have shared your emails. Yeah, that is all from us. Have a good evening and all the best. Maybe if you're still there, we can put our cameras and take a quick picture. Rebecca, if you're there, you picture us, and then we call it a day. Yes, switch on your cameras, and then we can take a concluding picture. Yeah. Thank you, James, for joining. Thank you, Edward. Thank you.
Thank you, Prudence. Thank you.
Yes.
Farid also.
Thank you, Bart, and thanks for surprising us and coming around and sharing your wealth of experience.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Was it?
It's always a
Amazing.
pleasure.
It's nice to hear. Uganda's on the move.
Oh yes.
Thank you, Bert.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prudence.
Yeah. Oh yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Prudence and team.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye, Christine.